Hey, Quarantine Youth Group, welcome back to another Holy Week devotion where we are walking through the last week of Jesus leading up to his crucifixion. So if you didn't watch yesterday's devotion, you can still go watch it where we looked at how Jesus cursed a fig tree and then cleansed the temple, and then the fig tree died, and now that foreshadowed what Jesus was doing with the temple, that we will no longer need the temple, but we can now worship God in spirit and in truth. And today we're moving into Tuesday, and so we are going to look at a parable that Jesus teaches on Tuesday. Alright, so I said Jesus teaches this on Tuesday, but really we're not exactly sure because the timeline for Tuesday and Wednesday is a little convoluted, okay? So on Tuesday and Wednesday, Jesus spent pretty much all of his time, most of his time, going from Bethany to Jerusalem and teaching in the temple. So we have a lot of different teachings in the temple, and it's not exactly specific and sure what happened on Tuesday, what happened on Wednesday, but that's okay, all right, because we're going to look at one teaching that makes its way into Matthew, Mark, and Luke during this week, okay? And it is one of my favorite parables because it is so explicitly the gospel. It's amazing here in this last week, Jesus is really dead on of what is the gospel. What is he really here for? And this is the parable of the vineyard owner. All right, and I am doing this one from Matthew chapter 21, verse 33. Okay, it starts in verse 33. I'm going to tell you the parable, then we're going to read a little bit and then talk about it, okay? So Jesus is telling this parable, speaking to the Pharisees in the temple, speaking to anybody who is listening. And it starts with, there was a landowner who planted a vineyard, put a fence around it, dug a wine press in it, and built a watchtower. He leased it to tenant farmers and went away. All right, before we go farther, this is just a cool little tidbit. When I went to Israel back when I was in college, we actually went to the old city of Nazareth, and in the old city of Nazareth, they have first century ruins of a wine press that is right next to a watchtower that is right next to an old grape vineyard. And so Jesus is probably thinking of a real life place that he grew up around as he is telling this parable, that he has seen this wine press near the vineyard with the watchtower watching it. Like Jesus is probably imagining himself back in the situation where he grew up when he tells this parable. And so he starts the parable out this way. He says, so the owner leased it to some farmers, and the tenants worked it, and when it came time for the harvest, the landowner sent his servants to the tenants to collect what was due to him, but instead the tenants beat up, killed, and stoned his servants. And so the owner again sends more servants, but this time more than just 3, and it says that the tenants treat his servants the exact same way. And so the landowner decides, okay, well, I'm going to send my son because surely they will respect my son. And so he sends his son to collect what he was supposed to get. And it says that the tenants say, look, here is the heir. Let's kill him, and then we will get everything that was supposed to go to him. And so they kill the heir. And Jesus says, what will the owner of the vineyard do when he comes to these farmers? And they answer, he will completely destroy those terrible men, they told him, and lease his vineyard to other farmers who will give him the fruit at the harvest. And Jesus said to them, have you never read in the scriptures, the stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. This is what the Lord has done, and it is wonderful in our eyes. Therefore, I tell you, the kingdom of God will be taken away from you and given to a people producing its fruit. Whoever falls on this stone will be broken to pieces, but on whomever it falls, it will shatter him. And when the chief priests and the Pharisees heard his parables, they knew he was speaking about them. And although they were looking for a way to arrest him, they feared the crowds because the people regarded him as a prophet. Jesus is very point blank telling the Pharisees this is what you are doing. God has sent all of his prophets throughout time, and what has the people of Israel done to the prophets? They have treated them terribly. They have not listened to them. They have killed them. They have beat them up. They have sent them away. They have not listened to the prophets. And so what has God done now? God has sent his son Jesus to the people of Israel, because surely they will listen to God's son. But Jesus is like, what have y'all done to the son? Y'all are gonna kill me. Y'all aren't gonna listen to me. You're not gonna listen to God. You're gonna disrespect him, and you are going to kill me. But guess what? I am the cornerstone. Even though you reject me, I am still the cornerstone on which salvation will be found. If you come and watch Wednesday night for our main message, we're actually going to look at where Psalm 118 is where this quote comes from. And there's some other times in this week that is quoted about Jesus from this psalm. And we're going to read where this comes from. But Jesus is saying, look, I am the cornerstone of salvation. I am where all lives are going to be built on. And you Pharisees, you are killing me. And so the people of God is going to be widened. It's not going to be just the Israelites, but it's going to be taken away. And now, because of that, all people like us, Gentiles, can be a part of God's people. All people can be saved by God because of the work that Jesus is going to do on Friday. That Easter week, Good Friday, Easter resurrection is not just about Jesus saving, but it was opening up Jesus saving to the whole world. That salvation is not just for the Israelite, not just for the Jew, but it is now for everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy being a part of the Quarantine Youth Group, then make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our videos. Follow us on Instagram. Be sure that you join the discussion in the comments, and if you've got any ideas or any questions of future videos that we could do, leave those in the comments. Let me know. We are here because we want to serve you during this time where we can't be together. So stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you soon.